Namaste friends, my name is Amit Garg. Welcome to my channel Vedic Astro Amit. Today we'll talk about Mars and Rahu coming together in Pisces. This combination of Mars and Rahu is known as Angarak Yoga. It's an explosive yoga. It's a Visfotak yoga. In Hindi, it's known as Visfotak yoga. This is a big deal. See, Rahu, whatever planet Rahu sits with, Rahu magnifies that the energy of that planet for good or for bad. If it's sitting with, Mercury, it'll enhance or exaggerate or multiply the energy of Mercury. And similarly with Mars, as we know, Mars is the planet of energy. Mars is aggression. Mars is anger. Mars is speed. Mars is action. So Rahu is going to make all those qualities 1,000 times more powerful. So it's known as Angarak Yoga. Angarak, the word Angarak, literally means burning coal. In a lot of ways, that's the quality of Mars, especially the sign of Scorpio. It's like burning underneath. You wouldn't know how hot the coal is, how hot the burning coal is. If you touch, then you'll get burned. But on the surface, it's hard to figure out how hot, or how dangerous the thing is. So this is like burning coal. And then Rahu is going to exaggerate, magnify that 1,000 times. So very, very, um, it's very potentially very dangerous yoga. You see, Mars is fire and Rahu is air. Rahu is extreme Vata energy, right? So in a way, it's like fanning the fire. Now, you have to understand this takes place once every year, right? So Mars and Rahu, they meet once a year. Mars goes around the zodiac, but it takes place in a different sign every year. Last year it was in Aries when Rahu was in Aries. So now this year it's happening in Pisces. What's the significance here? Pisces is a water sign, right? So this fire plus air, which is Mars plus Rahu, coming together in a sign of Pisces in a water sign. So that means possible issues or travel over water. So that's the key. There could be storms, there could be, and literally, there could be fire incidents. So even cooking at home, you got to be careful in your kitchen. And could be wildfires, could be accidents, could be um, a lot of impulsive action, anger, and there also could be warlike situations. So this about 35, 37 days period is very sensitive. We need to exercise caution on an individual level and at the global level. So there could be wars against countries, between countries. And Rahu basically exaggerates everything. So, and in Hindi we say, "Baat ka batangad banana," right? So that's what Rahu does, exaggerates everything. Rahu is illusion. Rahu is smoke, right? So there's lack of clarity. So let's say if somebody gets angry a little bit, and then the situation escalates, the other person gets more angry, and it just explodes from there. Rahu and Mars may also mean issues related to electricity, short circuits, or accidents because of electricity, or shorts, fires because of electricity. That's a possibility as well. But more on our individual level, we got to be careful about our words, about our actions, about our daily routine also, in terms of driving. So there could be a lot of road rage, and literally could be accidents. So we have to be very careful to channel this energy. This is very powerful energy. Burning coal could be used for cooking, right? Not just for fire. So it can be channeled in the positive direction as well. This is massive, massive uh, amount of energy, fiery energy. So it's like Rahu is fanning the fire. And so we want to use it in constructive ways. We'll talk about all the 12 signs, which house is taking place for you, and how we can channel that in the positive direction. So now we'll go around the zodiac. We'll look at one sign at a time, we'll see by the lagna, by the rising sign. So we'll begin with Aries rising. First of all, for Aries rising, Aries is number one sign, and you can see here. So for Aries, of course, Mars is the Lagna Lord, right? So Aries, Mars rules the first house, and Mars rules the eighth house, and it's transiting through the 12th house. So Lagna Lord going to the 12th house, that's first of all very significant. And so the Lagna Lord in the 12th house, first of all, we're talking about Mars, the very Pitta planet, getting, you know, like fanned by Rahu, the Vata, air. So there could be sleep problems. Okay, 12th house is our sleep. And this is a massive energy, illusion and Pitta energy. So there could be problems falling asleep in general. Not for everybody, of course, but that's going to affect your sleep. This is also your eighth house ruler sitting in the 12th house with Rahu, and that ruler is a very fiery Pitta planet, Mars. So huge change and transformation, and at a very deep level because it's also your Lagna Lord. See, for Aries, anyway, Mars is a very Mars basically brings you change and transformation if you're Aries rising, because the first ruler is also the eighth ruler. So first is self and eighth is change and transformation. Now that ruler is sitting in the 12th house. So this will open the portals, your subconscious mind, a very deep churning. You'll feel that everything is going, up and down. At a very deep level, you'll feel this change happening. It's not going to be like just superficial change, or let's say, you have a headache or something. You will feel this change at a very deep level, your subconscious level. So one of the things you could do is go on a retreat. That's the best thing for Aries to do, because going on a retreat means you're honoring the 12th house. So sort of like isolate yourself, or uh, could be retreat in a proper ashram, or even within your home. You can sort of like do a self retreat, and that will help you discover what's going on, what this change is all about. Okay, and also eighth house is sudden things. So literally, there could be, danger of accidents, especially traveling abroad. So be very careful if you're traveling abroad. This is going to be a sensitive period, especially traveling over water, overseas, like, a flight overseas. Be careful. And eighth house is also inheritance and money from other people. So there could be anger, like there could be fighting for inheritance, literally. Okay, uh, between family members. So they could be fighting for inheritance, and that could also happen in a very secretive manner. It's taking place in the 12th house. So there could be a lot of scheming going on, a lot of blind spots possible. So be careful. And Rahu is there, a lot of illusion possible. So be careful, but do not react, because Mars is impulsive. So Rahu is going to exaggerate that quality. So at the very sight of small issue or a conflict, possibly, you will actually, there's a tendency that you might go really very get very angry or react very strongly. That's the possibility. So try not to react. Figure out what will calm you down. What are your go-to places? So literally, you can go on a retreat, and you can do lots of meditation. Hanuman Chalisa is really good, and then Durga mantras. You got to let go of your ego. I mean, that's what the Lagna Lord in the 12th house is telling you. If you don't, if there is still some ego cropping up, there'll be issues. So let go of ego and really focus on self, change and transformation. And this letting go also includes actually letting go of resources, meaning donations. So donation is a big remedy for Aries, This whole drama, this whole Angaraka yoga is taking place in your 12th house. And especially donations you can give to a foreign country, say, places where, if you're in the US, for example, you can give donation in India, or other countries. So any donation for peace or spiritual work will be very, very powerful here. And from 12th house, Mars is also aspecting your 6th house, right? So 6th house is our enemies. 6th house is open enemies, 12th house is hidden enemies. So there could be, as I said, a lot of scheming or things going on. So be very careful, be vigilant. But don't get angry. Don't react to any situations which instigate you to that'll hurt your ego possibly. And 6th house is also the volunteer work. So this is again the combination of 12th house, 6th house. Good remedy is to do a lot of volunteer work, and you can actually do physical volunteer work, helping out with this with some organizations, physically going there, helping them doing things. So that'll be a great remedy. 6th house is also legal issues. So this is not the time to just lay low. This is not the time to fight for justice and things like that. Uh, just take it easy, because Rahu's influence. That means there could be illusion. The things may not be the way they seem to be. So be careful. Just lay low. Don't react. Don't make any big decisions related to your 12th house or 6th house or 8th house or even the first house, that is you. So just do your meditation, uh, breathing, pranayam, and give donations. Next is Taurus rising. Taurus is number 2 sign. And here Mars is sitting with Rahu in your 11th house. And Mars is your 12th house ruler, and Mars is your 7th house ruler. So for Taurus rising, this is taking place in your 11th house. Uh, Now, 11th house is your financial gains, right? 11th house is your desires, and 11th house is friends. So, Taurus rising, do not make any major financial decisions. And secondly, there may be potential that you might be getting angry, say on social media. That's 11th house, or with your friends in general. So be careful when dealing with your friends. There's potential for conflicts. A lot of anger could be, brewing, and then also, especially with your partners, in your personal relationships, also in your marriage, because Mars is the 7th house ruler. Mars is not a great planet for Taurus rising, because Mars is the ruler of the 12th house and it's the ruler of one of the Marka houses, 7th house. So Mars coming together with Rahu Angarak Yoga in the 11th house. Normally, malefic planets are good in the 11th house, Upachaya Sthan. But here in this case, uh, like more than one. So it's going to be a very explosive energy. So there could also be, you know, a tendency for couples or uh, people to bring their conflicts out in public. That's the 7th lord in the 11th house. So 11th 7th lord is afflicted in the 11th house, and it's Mars. Keep an eye on your desires. You may want things, 11th house. Rahu will make you be very ambitious, and you may want a lot of things, a lot of desires. And the thing with Mars and Rahu is Rahu, it increases your desires, but then Mars with Rahu will force you to almost like, you want things now. So let's say Rahu says, I want to have $1 million home, and then Mars will say, I really want it now, today. So there'll be impulsive action. There could be like investments that don't make sense. So that's the possibility. So be very careful in financial decisions, financial investments. Um, and then also Mars is the 12th house ruler, so there is possibility of losses as well. So don't make any big decisions. And 11th house is also our friends. So you may get upset or angry with your friends. So just exercise caution and don't be super active on social media. There is chances of conflict. And you may also have conflicts with your elder siblings. That's 11th house. And from 11th house, Mars is also aspecting your 5th house. There are other aspects, but we're looking at the most powerful aspect, 7th house aspect. So with respect to your 5th house matters. So do not make any risky investments, speculation, stock market. This is not the time to take any risks in the stock market. And there may also be some conflicts with your children. So be careful dealing with your children, communicating with your friends on social media, and also especially in your marriage or relationships. There is potential that small issues may be exaggerated. So that's what Mars and Rahu is possible. So you can do lots of yagyas, fire ceremonies, and then pranayam that will channel the vata energy of Rahu in the positive direction. And then also you can um, give donations. That's a good remedy. And honor and treat your partner with respect and do not react in situations in your relationships. Next is Gemini rising, Mithun Lagna. For Gemini rising, this combination, explosive combination of Angaraka yoga is taking place in your 10th house. For Gemini rising, Mars is not a great friend. Mars is the ruler of your 6th house and 11th house. Okay, so and it's transiting through your 10th house. So um, so there could be anger issues at your work. That's 10th house, profession. Be very careful at your work, in your company, dealing with your colleagues, especially dealing with your superiors also, your bosses. And this is a sixth lord in the 10th house. So there could be issues with health. So take care of your health. Any pitta issues in your body. And there could be just a lot of this unknown fears or illusion, because Rahu is illusion. So regarding your health, regarding your work profession, there could be a lot of blind spots and illusion. It's like smoke of Rahu. Things may not be real. And so there could be a lot of like fearful situations, and that turns into anger. So be careful about that. So the big recommendation is to stay calm at your work. Um, Somebody also asked, if you're a housewife, right? In one of the videos, somebody asked if I'm a housewife, then does this not apply to me at all? So, in fact, from the 10th house, Mars is also aspecting a strong aspect, seventh aspect on the 4th house. So, in the domestic life, in your home environment, also, this is possible. This anger may flare up in your home environment also. So, stay calm at your home also. Whatever applies to the profession, the 10th house also applies to the 4th house of domestic affairs. So it's equally important to stay calm at your home also. And one big caution, especially for Gemini and for Sagittarius, also we'll talk about Sagittarius, is be very, very careful in your kitchen. Be careful with the fire, appliances, and cooking, and also doing any fire rituals, yagyas and stuff. So very careful in your home and also at your work. Next is Cancer rising. So number 4 sign, Cancer rising, Lagna is Cancer. And for Cancer rising, Mars is sitting or transiting through your 9th house. Mars is actually Yoga Karaka for Cancer, right? Mars rules one of the Kendra houses, which is the 10th house. And Mars rules one of the Trikona houses, which is the 5th house. So the 5th house ruler and the 10th house ruler, it's transiting through your 9th house. So, first of all, be careful in long distance travel. Let's say outside the city, outside the state, could be within the country. That's 9th house represents travel, long distance travels, but maybe within the country. So, any long trips or road trips, especially road trips, even over the water, but within the country, usually it's not over the water. So, be careful in your travels. Secondly, there could be issues with superiors, with your gurus, with your teachers. things may not be the way they seem to be because of the illusion of Rahu, the smoke of Rahu. There could also be issues with children, anger issues, fights and things like that because it's the fifth ruler. And then also at your work, 10th Lord is in the ninth house with Rahu. So possibly ego issues, anger issues at work. So uh, big recommendation for all signs is not to act on impulse, not to have this impulsive action. You have some situation and just want to take action or react to it. So that's the biggest recommendation. And ninth house is higher studies also. So do not make any quick or impromptu decisions with respect to your higher education. Let's say getting admission somewhere. So take your time. Overall caution is do not make any major decisions with respect to the house where Mars is transiting, where Angaraka Yoga is taking place. That's your ninth house, which is higher education. Okay, so that's important. And one really good thing that Cancer rising can do is yagyas, fire ceremonies, homa, in the temples, because ninth house represents religious places also. So you can visit temples during this time, this 37, 38 days, and actually perform yagyas at the temples or take part in some of the events happening during this whole duration. And other thing is, it is actually good to go on a pilgrimage, but just be careful on the road. But going on a pilgrimage is one of the remedies. And also for Cancer rising, because it's the fifth Lord, Mars, there could be issues with your romantic partners. So anger issues in your relationship, romantic relationships. And also even with your younger siblings, because from the ninth house, Mars is aspecting your third house as well. So, and be cautious in all forms of communication. There could be anger because a third house represents rules communication, especially written communication, emails, networking, marketing, and sales. So if you do that kind of job or work, be careful in your communication in those areas. Next is the sign of Leo. See, in my thumbnail, I have mentioned that Leo is one of the sensitive signs, more sensitive than the others, because for Leo, this whole drama, this whole Angarak Yoga is taking place in your eighth house, and that's very sensitive. We'll discuss why. First of all, eighth house is sudden changes or sudden things, even accidents. So Mars in the eighth house is a classic combination where there could be issues on the road rage and accidents possible. So drive very carefully for Leo rising. Mars is the friend of the Lagna Lord, but in the eighth house, a lot of sudden changes. Second thing is there could be fights or issues with respect to inheritance. Okay, so there could be fighting for inheritance. And also from the eighth house, Mars is aspecting the second house of family wealth. So there's a potential for big conflicts and disputes within the family for family wealth, for inheritance, even for money from in-laws. That's the eighth house. So money from your spouse. So or your shared resources with your spouse. Okay, so like let's say a couple, they have shared resources, of course, and then there could be a misunderstanding. For example, let's say the husband says, why did you spend these $100 on specific something to his wife, and then she may be under the impression that he wanted to spend. So there's a possibility of misunderstanding when it comes to shared resources. That's very important for Leo. And there could be issues, anger issues, or conflicts with your parents also, because Mars is your fourth lord and your ninth lord. So for Leo rising, in fact, Mars is the planet that represents your parents in a way. Other than the sun and the moon, Mars is also a very significant planet for parents. So good remedy during this period is to exercise caution and patience and remain calm and help your parents, help your mother, help your father. That'll be an excellent remedy for this difficult transit. And this may involve revelation of a lot of secrets. So could be good or bad. Like if there are some, secrets you didn't want everybody to know, those may come to surface. And a lot of that could be illusion or smoke because of Rahu. Secondly, but this is on the positive side, a very big opportunity for change and transformation. You'll discover the secrets of the universe. Rahu in the eighth house makes you fearless in terms of discovering what's going on, the secrets of the universe, what's my purpose, and all the answers. So this is the time for you to really, it's the time for change and transformation and figure out the deep secrets. Really good time if you want to dive into esoteric wisdom, like learning like even joining astrology courses, learning energy healing, or learning about the subconscious mind, all of that. So this is powerful time for transformation, change. There could be sudden changes. There could also be sudden windfall of money. That's possible here. But be careful about any illusion. Double check everything. And giving donation is also a good remedy for Leo rising, because eighth house is literally this house of excretion. And so voluntary donations is a good remedy. Next is Virgo rising. Now, for Virgo rising, number six sign, as you see here, Mars is also not that great a friend. Mars is actually the eighth house ruler, and Mars is the third house ruler. Okay. And it's transiting through your seventh house. So Mars is the planet of change and transformation. So it's the eighth ruler sitting in the seventh house. And with Rahu, Angaraka Yoga taking place in your seventh house. Be very, very careful dealing with your partner, both domestic, like your personal partnerships, your relationship, but also business partnerships. Okay, so there's potential for exaggeration of any minor issues spiraling up. And then Mars is also your third ruler, so be careful dealing with your younger sibling. There could be anger issues, disputes with your younger sibling. Be careful in your communication, especially written communication, which is like emails and stuff. That's third house as well. Um, there could be some secrets that may be revealed with respect to your relationships or with respect to your inheritance. There could be conflicts and blind spots and illusion with respect to shared resources. Eighth Lord sitting in the seventh house with Rahu. So you got to deal with uh, basically it's about you. That's the first house, because Mars is aspecting your first house from the seventh house, and also your partners. So it's all about a balance and not making any impulsive decisions and not taking action, not reacting too fast. The one of the big remedies for Virgo would be to treat your partner with respect and let go of ego. Let go of ego in your relationships, and do not react in any situation with respect to your relationships. Next is the sign of Libra, Libra rising. The Lagna is Libra. In that case, Mars is your seventh house lord, and Mars is your second lord. So Mars is not such a great planet for Libra rising, because it's the ruler of both the Marka stans, second lord and the seventh lord. And it's sitting in your sixth house. So Libra is one of the signs I mentioned in the thumbnail also, that it's going to be a very, very sensitive period. You see, Mars is transiting through the sixth house, right? So sixth house is the house of conflicts. And Mars and Rahu, it's Angarak Yoga. That is a classic combination for conflicts. So there could be a lot of anger, there could be a lot of fighting and disputes possible. Um, and also, if there are any, legal issues or court cases going on, be very careful. Just lay low. Don't. There could be a lot of illusion. Things are not going to be what they seem to be on the surface. So be very careful. And then also Mars is the seventh house ruler, sitting in the sixth house. So not a great time for relationships. Be very, very careful in your communication in relationship, and do not doubt anything. Do not assume things, because there could be a lot of illusions. Just let go of any, doubts or preconceived notions, or don't react. Don't jump on conclusion in your relationships. That's very important for Libra. Same thing with respect to your family also. That's the second lord. And from sixth house, Mars is also aspecting your 12th house. So there could be a lot of issues with the enemies, both internal enemies and external enemies. A lot of possibility of blind spots and hidden things, hidden issues. Take care of your health also. Sixth house represents health. And there could be like, fear and things. So, but most of it would be illusion. Like it's just smoke. That's Rahu. It's just um, fear of the unknown. Oh, what's happening? What's going on? And so it's not going to be real, most of it. But still exercise caution and take care of your health, because sixth house represents our acute diseases also. One of the big remedies for Libra would be do a lot of physical volunteer work. Go out and help some organizations, help some people physically, like use your energy in constructive ways, in volunteer services, in helping people. That's the sixth house. And that will take care of all of this excessive pitta energy of Mars, this Angaraka yoga. Next is Scorpio rising, Scorpio Lagna. For Scorpio Lagna, this is very, very sensitive as well, because this is your Lagna Lord transiting through the fifth house, and it's the sixth Lord and the Lagna Lord transiting through the fifth house along with Rahu. Now, for Scorpio rising, a lot of things happening. First of all, be careful in your romantic relationships uh, in both ways. One is there could be fights, disputes, anger. That's possible. Second is you may actually jump to conclusion, as in get into a relationship too fast. Because first of all, Rahu is illusion. So people may not be who they seem to be, who they pretend to be. Secondly, second thing is Mars is action sometimes without thinking, especially with Rahu. So you may jump on you may want to get into a relationship which may not be real, which may not be good for you. So be careful in analyzing or evaluating this person that you're getting into a relationship with. But in your existing, if you already have a romantic partner, so be careful in your communication. Secondly, for Scorpio, very, very careful in stock market or investment, or do not take any make any risky decisions, risky bets. This is not the time. Be very careful, be very conservative. Third thing is be careful with your children. There could be disputes or fights or anger with your children or among your children themselves in their lives. So that's another caution. And then also careful with your finances in general, because from the fifth house, Mars is also aspecting your 11th house, and Mars is your sixth lord as well. Then Mars being the Lagna lord. So you are undergoing a change and transformation. That's the Lagna Lord, and so there's a potential for you to it'll impact you at every level. So there's a potential to get angry, get upset, or assume things, or be blindsided by illusion of Rahu. So be careful in all sorts of dealings, especially with your children, with respect to your finances and your romantic relationships, all of that. Next is Sagittarius rising, Lagna. For Sagittarius Lagna, Mars is your fifth lord and Mars is your 12th lord. So it's a very important planet. And this transit is taking place in your fourth house. So Sagittarius is another one of the signs I mentioned in the thumbnail, that it is more sensitive than the other signs. And that is mainly because this Angaraka yoga, this explosive yoga, is taking place in your fourth house of Sukhasthana, of your physical residence, of your mother. So it will impact you very deeply. So first of all, with your mother, be very patient, be very polite, be very respectful, help her. Do not have any disputes or anger with your mother. Secondly, in your home environment, in general, in your home physical place of residence, um, there could be like anger issues going on. Both Rahu and Mars are very aggressive, difficult planets in the fourth house. And so the energy, it could be very explosive. Be careful dealing with everybody at your home. Third is this is not the time for real estate investment, if you've been thinking, or I shouldn't say investment, but do not make any major decisions with respect to real estate for Sagittarius rising. Okay. And Mars is also your fifth lord, and going through this Angaraka yoga. That means there could be conflicts with your romantic partner. And so even with potential of conflict between your mother and your romantic partner. So that's also a possibility. Uh, and and this is not the perfect time to say bring home your romantic partner. Fifth house is romantic partner. Fourth house is Angaraka Yoga, that is your physical place of residence. So not a good time to. It's better to keep away from your physical place of residence, your romantic partner. And Mars is also your 12th house lord. So there again more chances of being blindsided or illusion or missing some things. But then this is also a wonderful time when you'll actually discover your hidden talents, hidden secrets. That's the subconscious mind, the 12th house, and you'll discover those strengths of your subconscious mind. Um, and fourth house is also, it's all taking place in the fourth house. So good time to go on a retreat. So combination of fourth house and 12th house. That means even abroad or just at your home, practice just meditation, silent meditation, sort of retreat within your place of residence. So that's a good remedy. Also, one other big reason for this being very sensitive, especially for Sagittarius, is because it's taking place in the fourth house, and that it means be careful while cooking. Be careful in your kitchen. Potentially, like literally, there could be a fire hazard, a fire risk while cooking in your kitchen. And from fourth house, Mars is also aspecting your 10th house, which is career. So be careful and calm and do not react at your workplace either. Now, it's a good time to do fire ceremonies, yagyas, that's a good remedy. And of course, the Hanuman Chalisa, Durga mantras, but be very, very careful in terms of any fire hazards, fire issues in your place of residence. Next is Capricorn rising, number 10 sign. So as you can see, for Capricorn rising, this whole Angarak Yoga is taking place in the third house, in your third house. And third house, normally it's really good to have malefic planets in your third house. And we'll talk about that. And Mars is your fourth lord and your 11th lord. So the fourth ruler and the 11th ruler is transiting through your third house, having Angarak Yoga. So, but this is massive energy. So first of all, be careful in your communication, especially written communication, emails. Do not have any anger issues. Secondly, careful with dealing with your younger siblings. Third house is younger siblings. There is potential for conflicts. Even dealing with your neighbors, in the neighborhood, there could be some anger issues or misinformation or illusion or um, you know conflicts. And then keep your desires in check because it's the 11th lord transiting through the third house. So both the third house and 11th house are houses of desire. And so Rahu being there causing this Angarak Yoga, there may be excessive desires or frustration because of unfulfillment of some of the desires. And those desires could be unreasonable to begin with. So be patient, be cautious, and do not have excessive desires. There could also be issues with your mother, anger issues or misconception, misinformation, illusion with respect to certain things. So there could be conflicts with your mother. And then third house is also the house of courage. So of course, Mars and Rahu, they are courageous, but this could be like excessive of something. So excess of everything is bad. So you may act very impulsively, very aggressively towards your daily situations, which require courage. So instead of just being courageous as in a courageous person, you may act as in anger, act aggressively. So that's the fine line. So this Angarak Yoga taking place in the third house may make you very aggressive in dealing with day-to-day issues. Be careful in your short distance travels. Third house is travel, say, within the city. So be very careful on the road traveling within the city, but also so from the third house, Mars will be aspecting your ninth house, which is long distance travel. So if you're traveling, say, cross country or long distance travels, be careful there as well. Uh, but this is, you can channel this excessive Mars and Rahu energy by learning some skills. Third house is our skills, especially with your hands. So that'll be a good remedy for you. Be careful on the social media. Do not get involved in any disputes, arguments online with people, and also with your friends in general. 11th house is your friends, and it's Mars is a planet for friends as well. So be careful dealing with your friends, especially on the social media, and also not. This is not the time to make any big financial decisions. It's the 11th Lord going through the Angaraka. Next is the rising sign of Aquarius, Aquarius Lagna, Kumbh Rashi, Kumbh Lagna. So for Kumbh Lagna, this Angarak Yoga is taking place in your second house. It's all taking place in the sign of Pisces. And for Kumbh Lagna, the Mars is your third lord and your 10th lord. So for Aquarius rising, you got to be careful. Number one, first of all, very important, you got to be careful with your speech. It's taking place in your second house. There may be tendency to be aggressive in your words, in your speech. Okay. And secondly, especially with your family members, that's the second house. Third is you got to be careful with your food, the food that you're eating. There could be a lot of emotional eating or just excessive eating possible. Then there also could be issues related to family wealth, your resources, and because Mars is also aspecting the eighth house from there, so potential conflict with respect to inheritance or shared resources of couples or resources from the in-laws. So be careful, don't get involved in any disputes with the family, money, family wealth, shared resources. Just lay low, and if possible, just postpone any major decisions with respect to the family wealth for another, about 40 days or so. There could be anger issues or disputes at your work also, that's 10th Lord, and also with your younger siblings, because Mars is the third Lord as well. So be careful dealing with people at work and with your younger siblings. And again, this whole thing is because of Rahu, Angarakya, and Rahu is illusion. So a lot of things may not be true, that a lot of your assumptions may not be true. A lot of information could be misinformation. So don't blindly trust people. Don't react immediately. Don't take impulsive action. That's the big remedy, big caution for all of the signs. And so for second house, so one is you can give some food donation. That's a good remedy. In fact, cooking food and then donating it, that's a really good remedy for you. And then, of course, chanting Hanuman Chalisa, Durga mantras, those will be good as well. Next is the sign of Pisces, Lagna, Pisces Lagna, Mean Lagna. Rising sign is Pisces. So for Pisces, this is, of course, taking place in your Lagna, in your first house. And Mars is the second house ruler, and Mars is also your ninth house ruler. And it's transiting through your Lagna. So you may be undergoing a lot of change and transformation. That's your Lagna. And there could be a lot of anger brewing underneath, like you may feel this kind of like a pressure cooker. Secondly, there could be a lot of dissatisfaction with the status quo, like you may feel a lot of things are missing in your life. You want this, you want that. That's Rahu in the first house. And that may lead to a lot of frustration. That's Angarak Yoga, Mars with Rahu. Okay, Mars is anger, impatience, and Rahu is exaggeration and dissatisfaction. Rahu is insatiable desire. So this combination in your Lagna, it's very sensitive. It will make you really, really dissatisfied with certain things. And then it's also aspecting your seventh house. So be careful in your relationships also. It's Mars is the second house ruler, so that means your words, your speech. So your speech or your words with your family, with your spouse or business partners, and with yourself also. So watch out your self-talk. the words that you say to yourself when nobody's around, right? So you're talking to yourself. There could be a lot of like exaggeration in, oh, I'm not good, or this happened, what will happen? So a lot of unfounded fears. Rahu makes you sort of fearful, and you just want to make change. You want to change everything about you, about the world. That's Rahu in the first house. And then also Rahu is the Mars is the house ruler, ninth lord sitting in the first house. So be careful dealing with the gurus, with the superiors. This is not the time to make any major decisions with respect to yourself. If possible, if you really want to make any decision, that's fine, but make sure, first of all, you're not making any hasty decisions, impulsive decisions. Secondly, you're not just reacting to situations. So you think through the all the possible outcomes, think about things really well. And so because there could be a lot of illusion um, because of Rahu. So see carefully, evaluate your options carefully, and then make a decision. But this will bring about a lot of change and transformation for good, and you'll discover by the end, all the illusion will go away. You'll have a lot of clarity. And one of the big remedies for Pisces Lagna will be to let go of your ego. Okay, so there could be Rahu in the first house may even make you have a big ego. You think about yourself as somebody who you're not, which could be good or bad. But just let go of ego and be ready for this change and transformation, and give donations. That's also another remedy for you. Hope you enjoyed this um, video. And if you have any comments, please share. And if you find this information useful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon so you get the notifications. And I'm also starting a course, actually two courses. One is on nakshatras, starting Wednesday, April 24th. And that's a 9-week course, deep dive, really, really interesting. We go over charts of famous personalities and mythology, symbology, all of that. And then also we're starting a level 1, very in-depth course, 24-week course. You can see on your screen right here. So starting May 9th, that's going to be a very powerful way of learning astrology, Jyotish. And also we have a very big special offer going on. If you sign up for this course within the next 2 days, you will get a free reading with me, a 1-hour consultation with me. And you can check out the details on this website, VedicAstromit.com/learn-astrology. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.